President Biden just offered Hamas a deal he thinks they can't refuse. They get to stay in power. America will pay to rebuild Gaza. And most importantly, President Biden will stick it to the Israeli prime minister when he comes to address Congress next month. Here's the president today.
Here's what it would include: a full and complete ceasefire, a withdrawal of Israeli forces from all populated areas of Gaza, release of a number of hostages, including women, the elderly, the wounded, in exchange for release of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners.
All right. Israel doesn't even get all of its hostages back until they agree to a complete ceasefire, with Hamas, the group that attacked them on October 7th, still in power. What could possibly go wrong? Joining us now, White House columnist for our partners at The Hill, Niall Stanage. Welcome back. Good to see you. Thank you, my friend. All right. How much pressure did the White House have to exert on the Israelis to get this?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's not exactly what the Israelis want, to say the least. But here's the thing that confuses me. Why is President Biden proposing a deal that he says is backed by the Israelis? Why are the Israelis not publicly proposing it then? I also think he would dispute your contention that it leaves Hamas in power. It's vague about what happens later. It says Israel will have its security needs met, but not how that happens.
Well, it says not how that happens. It also doesn't say Hamas will leave power. I think you make a great point. Is President Biden sort of trying to will this plan into existence, get Hamas to agree to it, and then when the Israelis quibble, he's able to embarrass them?
Well, what he's trying to do is get some cessation of violence from this horrific violence that has lasted for months and months and months and claimed 36,000 Palestinian lives, about 1,200 Israeli lives. He has to be seen politically, which I think is your point, to be doing something, because the Democratic base, as you and I have talked about before, is up in arms about what has happened.
So the Democratic base is up in arms, and obviously you've got a pro-Israel base that's extremely upset still about the hostages, more than 100 still in captivity, including Americans, a 26-year-old woman among them. Is this enough for either side?
I don't know that it's enough for Mr. Netanyahu, who has claimed that Israel wants to have total victory. It certainly is not enough for the most right-wing members of his cabinet, Mr. Ben-Gvir and others, who want a reoccupation of Gaza. Now, whether it's enough...
that's just lunacy. But why would Hamas, that has seen support among American youth in droves, the Ayatollah has been tweeting now in support of the pro-Palestinian protesters, why would Hamas take this deal and not hold out for more?
Well, because lots of Palestinians are being killed, for a start.
Hamas doesn't really care about that.
Well, look, hold on a second, Leland. To say pro-Hamas demonstrators, for a start, people are protesting about the plight of the Palestinians. This is a disagreement.
Okay,
it's not fair to call them pro-Hamas demonstrators.
And I wouldn't say it's fair to call them pro-Palestinian if they're chanting slogans that are similar to Hamas, but we'll move past that. The Ayatollah is tweeting in support of these protests. We can agree on that, right? So clearly, Hamas and the Iranians understand they've got President Biden over a barrel domestically. He's worried about protests at the DNC. Why wouldn't they hold out for more?
Because they know that Israel is going to keep attacking them, presumably. Israel will get further isolated if it keeps doing that. There is building criticism not only from the Middle East or from Iran, but from European ministers.
Absolutely. Ireland just recognized the Palestinian state. So why would Hamas take this deal and not hold out for a better deal? Because they're going to know, the closer we get to August, the more pressure there is on President Biden.
I think that actually is a fair point. Why would they not hold out for more? Now, the question is, why do they think that they have the advantage? Hasn't Israel handed them a moral advantage by its own conduct?
I think you may be right that they certainly have the advantage. Hamas does have the advantage. I would argue it's because Israel has done a very poor job telling its own story, number one. And number two, there's enormous anti-Israel sentiment in Europe and around America's college campuses. Shockingly enough, we do not have time to fully litigate that situation. Quick prediction. Will there be a ceasefire before the DNC?
No, not in my opinion.
Wow. So you think this is going to keep going, this proposal?
I don't think that either side is going to go for this proposal, and I think President Biden will lose the election if this conflict is still ongoing a month or so before the American president.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.